Welcome everyone, it's Baz40K, and in today's video I've got a mini video for y'all. I'm basically going to be going over the Dark Angels faction and why I think the Dark Angels faction is one of the best factions to play in current 10th edition. And I'm basically just going to be going over these guys right here. These kits right here are going to be probably the best units you can buy, at least first starting off when you're starting your first army. And for the Dark Angels, I believe that these kits will be the best bang for your buck when it comes to playing them on the tabletop. First off, we're just going to go over some of the units here. This is Azrael, the leader of the Dark Angels in terms of he is the chapter master. And basically he can lead either Stern Guard, Hellblasters, the Inner Circle Companions, and a couple of other things that are pretty good. He gives all of your units that he's led, or that he's leading. So if he's leading a Primaris Hellblasters, then he will buff them, giving them sustained hits 1. He will also give them a 4-up invulnerable save, and once per game he can give them 4-up feel no pains for mortal wounds, which is really, really good. And he also has some pretty crazy attack profiles in terms of his main gun and his melee weapon, which is really, really good. And he is probably going to be the best unit you can buy in terms of a character unit, just because he can generate CP, gives your units sustained hits, and also gives them some buffing abilities. Next is going to be these Primaris Hellblasters, and these guys are probably the best ranged units you can buy for Space Marines, at least for infantry. I know there's definitely some better, more powerful ranged capability units for Space Marines, but these guys right here are going to be the best units you can buy, and have them be led by Azrael and give them sustained hits 1, which is going to be amazing, and give them a little bit of tankiness, considering that they kind of have this standard infantry stat line for Space Marines. So 3-up saves, 2 wounds, toughness 4. And so giving the extra invulnerable save sometimes will help, especially, you know, if someone's got some pretty strong AP coming your way for the infantry. And that's why I think that the Primaris Hellblasters are still kind of tanky in regards to if they're led by Azrael, because with those invulnerable saves and the mortals, you get a pretty tanky unit as well as some really, really good shooting. With the sustained hits 1, that makes their firepower capability, you know, just go that much better. And so that's why I think that these guys are definitely some of the best shooting units you can get. Next is just going to be the Dark Angels upgrade sprue. And so this is mainly for the Primaris Hellblasters, just to make them look like Dark Angels. And that's why I think these guys are going to look, they're going to look really cool with the upgrade sprue, because turning the regular Space Marines into whatever faction you want is one of the best parts about Warhammer 40k. Is you can really customize and make things look how you really want. And so that's why I think with a price total of $40 here, $30 here, and $60 here, brings you to about $130. So $130 to start off is not bad. It's definitely a little bit more on the expensive side, but $130 and you get roughly about 300-ish points of Space Marines, 330 points of Space Marines. And with that, you'd be able to at least have a start of an army that looks really cool, first off, because you have the upgrade kit, and you've got Azrael with the Primaris Hellblasters. And second off, that's a good amount of points with the 10-man Primaris Hellblaster at 225, and then the Azrael at 115 for a character. And so with that, you can get, you know, a couple other units like, yeah, I mean, you can get some Inner Circle Companions, get some, get an Impulsor, and some other stuff like that to carry the Inner Circle Companions, and you'll basically be at a really good start for having a Dark Angels army. And with that, I'm basically going to be doing a little unboxing for you guys here. And then we're going to be putting together Azrael. And that will be the start of this kind of video series for the starting the Dark Angels army. And then in the next, I will be painting the Primaris Hellblasters. Alright everyone, we're going to get straight into the unboxing here. We're going to unbox Azrael first, and then we will unbox the upgrades and transfers. And then we will take a look at the Primaris Hellblasters. I got these from a friend actually, and he already primed them. So, but we're still going to unbox them, and we'll take a look at what's inside each box. So starting with Azrael. And see, Azrael, the reason why you'd want to go Azrael in your army is because he can really buff your units shooting. And shooting for Dark Angels is going to be not necessarily the place where you do the most amount of damage, because your melee will be extremely strong in most cases for Dark Angels. But having a strong shooting unit will make it so your engagements aren't so tough whenever you're trying to get to objectives. And Azrael will be a great unit to have when it comes to things like that. So in Azrael's box here, let's open it up. We got, of course, his sprue, which if you'll notice, you know, he's got his banner, which is going to be decently difficult to paint, but it won't be that hard. And see, some of these parts on the sprue here will be, you know, pretty hard to paint because Azrael is a more detailed model. But Azrael is also a pretty decently beginner-friendly model because there's not a lot of hidden places for you to have to paint. So if you'll notice on his box, a lot of the places to paint are pretty wide and open. So you're not necessarily having to get into any cracks and crevices to try and get him painted. And so, of course, we've got his character sheet and the instructions and his base. So yeah, that's basically what comes inside Azrael's box here. And so with that, we will go on to the upgrades. So with the upgrades are basically just going to be the same thing. They're literally the same exact size box. So we're going to open this up here. And this right here is just probably one of the coolest upgrades and transfers you can get. I see a lot of people use these transfers for other things besides just Dark Angels. And I think they look really, really cool. And so what you get inside these, you get the transfer sheet. So these will be water decals basically that you can put on your vehicles and all of the infantry marines that you get, and some of the Deathwing Knights and whatnot. And then you get your upgrade sprues. So the upgrade sprues come with a bunch of different stuff. So it comes with obviously this big old laser cannon here. It comes with 2 different style laser cannons. I assume that's for the Deathwing Terminators if you decide to build the Deathwing Terminators. So there's 2 types of Deathwing Terminators, which are the Knights and then the regular Terminators. And then these right here will be for those regular Terminators. And so with these, obviously you get a bunch of really cool you know, signature pauldrons, a lot of iconography, just a lot of good bits with a lot of details for your Dark Angels army. And obviously you get the hooded helmets, which are super, super cool. And on the other kit, you get more of the pauldrons and some more of the, you know, just the icons for the Dark Angels. And so with these guys, with the upgrade kits here, we'll be putting them on the Primaris Hellblasters, and that will make them look a lot more like Dark Angels, especially with the hooded helmets, because that's what a lot of things that's what Dark Angels are pretty well known for, is like the hoods on their helmets and more knightly looking Space Marines. Next, we got the Primaris Hellblasters. So these guys right here, these guys, like I said, they were pre-primed, so I bought them off a friend. And what you get in this box right here, you get obviously the instructions and the transfer sheet. And these are for kind of like the regular, so like Ultra Marines, Imperial Fists. So the regular basic Space Marines that don't really necessarily have a dedicated chapter name. And so you get those, and then obviously you get your sprues. And so you get a bunch of sprues in these. And these obviously, yeah, these were, you know, they're already primed black, which I know a lot of people don't necessarily like priming the sprues first, but I don't really mind. And sometimes I even prefer it. Especially for painting wise, it makes it a lot more, makes it a lot easier. And then obviously we've got the bases here, so 10 bases and a bunch of sprues to get the Primaris Hellblasters going here. And so that's basically what comes in the box there. So the sprues and the transfer sheet, the instructions, and your tablets for the Marines and for where they sit. And so now we're gonna go ahead and build Azrael, and we'll do a little time lapse for y'all, and we'll see how that looks after we're finished. Well, everyone, that's going to be the building section of that, and I hope y'all really enjoyed some of the building that I did, at least for the time lapse. And yeah, basically, that's going to be it for the video here. And to reiterate, I just want to basically say that these guys will be some of the best units that, like I said again, that you can buy to start out your army for Dark Angels. And I really recommend buying these units and trying them out, at least on the tabletop or with friends or whatever. Especially because these guys are really, really good. And I think with the current state of Warhammer 40k, these guys will definitely be some strong players. So, with that said, we're basically going to end off the video here. Be on the lookout for the next couple videos. I'm going to be doing a Space Marines 2 Hive Tyrant Lethal, and that will be one of the next videos to come out. And then in the next video after that, we will be painting Azrael, and I'll be doing a mini showcase for Azrael. And then after that will be the Primaris Hellblasters, and I'm really going to do something special for the Primaris Hellblasters, so really stay tuned for that. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like. I really appreciate it, and don't forget to comment. It really helps out the videos, and we'll definitely get to getting to the new armies that I've got. Besides just the Dark Angels, I've got Adeptus Sororitas to get to, and so definitely stay tuned if you like this content. Again, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.